Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Oh, welcome back. Going to talk about something I believe is really interesting. And truly, once you understand it, once you're aware of what we're going to talk about, it can be a game changer in your life. You're going to see things that you never saw before. What I'm referring to is signs, signals, also connected to your health. That's one part of it. But using your intuition to pilot you in many different ways. She is an intuitive, a medium. She's also a therapist. So she's got a very broad understanding of how a lot of this works, including this right up here. And she's Noelle Deane. She's back with us. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, Steve. How about you?
I'm good. Yeah. Disclaimer.
Thank you. Yes. The information presented on the podcast is educational in nature and is provided only as general information and is not medical or psychological advice, nor is it a substitute for seeking licensed healthcare services. Thank you, sir.
Right. So why don't we just go there in terms of why this topic came up? Now, you're dealing with an issue, but it's connected to another issue and or challenge, and we think there's a reason. So are you okay with sharing?
Oh, absolutely. So I woke up this morning with an extremely sore neck, just on one side. And just as I'm saying that, I'm like, oh, I didn't even think what that might symbolize, that it's on my left-hand side. But broader question is, I suddenly have this pain in my neck. And I had what for me was a really difficult situation 2 days ago, where I needed to basically have a confrontational conversation with somebody I've known for a long time about what felt like a really touchy subject. And I cannot describe how much I was squirming on the inside about just the idea of having that conversation. You know, a lot of us are empaths. You're an empath. I bet a lot of people listening are empaths, and they're just trying to learn more about their path in this kind of way. And, you know, maybe because I'm pretty isolated, I'm home and by myself physically most of the time, that I think some of the normal emotional boundaries that all of us had, let's say even like pre-COVID, where we could go out and be among a lot of people and we were kind of used to it, and maybe our energy didn't feel as affected. Now I feel way more affected. I do a lot more mediumship, so that could be it too. But, you know, just trying to sit with why am I feeling this? What did I do? Was it stress? And I didn't notice it yesterday. And now, well, I didn't feel this yesterday. But anyway, and then when Steve and I were getting ready to have this conversation, he asked me if I thought it was related to my throat chakra. And I was like, well, I have to say yes, because it's my neck. So that's connected to my throat. And that would really make sense, because that was a really hard conversation to have.
Yeah. What would make you think that it's not just, hey, the way I slept or something like that? I don't believe it is, but I'm just wondering. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't sleep any better or worse or differently than how I normally do. And it's not just like a little bit of a pinch. You know, I've talked about doing yard work. You know, I've been doing that kind of thing. But this is like the whole side of my neck. And it's pretty intense.
I completely relate. And I shared with you, I got acute laryngitis a couple of weeks ago, got sick a week before that. I never get sick. And then I looked back into it, and I was going through this on the anniversary of something very impactful in my life that could also deal, if you want to believe in chakras, the throat chakra in terms of expressing yourself. And it's just, that's too coincidental that all of that happened. And one of the reasons I got sick because I went away for 3 days to just take some time, not with the anniversary of this date. I didn't remember it, but I just think it's kind of weird that all of those things, they all kind of fell into place. So, you know, a lot of times we want to think it's a coincidence, but we both believe there are no coincidences. It happens for a reason. Whatever the reason is, I don't know. Sometimes we never know.
Yeah. And look, dates are a big deal. I worked with foster youth for a long time, and a lot of them had anniversaries in their mind that they would not even realize was a big trigger for them, like the day that they were put in the dependency system, or when their parents lost custody of them, or, I mean, big, important, impactful dates. So a lot of times, some people would be like, the month of May is a huge trigger for me. Or it could just be, okay, May 13th. It's just May 13th and that whole week that's really tough. Even, for people whose loved ones have passed, dates, and I think we may have talked about that when we talked about grief, dates can be a huge thing. My sister passed on August 24th of this year. So, and that was a Saturday. So at first, the first few weeks, Saturdays were, and I really did not want to, what's the word? Like program myself that Saturdays would be a trigger for me. But the first couple weeks, I couldn't help but remember, oh yeah, it's been 2 weeks now. It's been 3 weeks now. And then there's, all right, well then the 24th, I could hang on to the 24th and not necessarily realize that I'm triggered on the 24th of a month. It's been 2 months. So I'm going to work to not have it be like an anchor for me so that I'm it as much as I can. But a lot of this is unconscious stuff. Like you're not even really aware of it until it hits, and then you dig a little and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm even looking at that date. And I'm going to preface this by saying, like, I'm not obsessed. I'm not like a freaky person that tries to look for something.
Yeah.
But I look from it at afar. And maybe there's something there that, a takeaway. And we'll look at that date, August 24th, 2024. If you add those up, it comes out to 40. And then if you, pare it down, it's really a 4. And I wonder if the 4 is impactful in your life, if it means anything. I don't know.
I wish I knew more about numerology right now. I have friends that are very much into numerology, and they find that really helpful, probably in the same way I find mediumship helpful. It helps guide things, just like astrology can be really helpful in that way too. So I'm not familiar what 4 symbolizes, although now I'm going to have to look it up when we're done today.
This became on my radar a couple of years ago. Sold a house, moved, wonder if I was making the right choice. For me, my daughter, just a lot of that. And somebody told me my life path number was 11, which apparently is really good. Again, like you, I don't really know a lot. I come to find out the number 11 is very important in my life. My dad passed on the 11th, and there's other things there. But then I look closer, and the address that I live at, if you add it up, the 3 numbers comes out to 11. Does it mean something? I don't know. But maybe it does, and maybe it's something to be mindful of. But the 11 just has a role in my life. I don't know. But they say it's a good number. So I just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I don't know much about those kind of numbers, but typically those double numbers, like 11 or 22, are considered angel numbers and have a certain power to them. And look, it's not trying to indoctrinate ourselves or anybody else, and you have to look at this. But I love how you're even talking about it. You're just like kind of trying it on. Like, let me see if that's helpful.
Yeah.
Does that give me some kind of insight into what's going on with you?
And maybe it doesn't. And maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's not. I'm not sitting here saying, "Well, the number 4. Look at it right now. It's important." I will tell you. And I talked to somebody yesterday who was intuitive about some numbers that came my way from my mom, and that was a year ago. And it's a password for my modem. I think I told you that. And it's her name, randomly generated. And those numbers, I play them in the lottery all the time. And this person said, have you played? I'm like, yes, I do. Because I believe there's something there. What? And by the way, over the weekend, the number 7 is also important in that shows up all the time. The 7 and 11, my dad died on 7/11. I'm driving. There's a vehicle in front of me, and I just look up, and it's my 3 initials, and there's digits after it. 66, haven't figured that out, and 34, which is my father's birthday, with my initials. Now, I don't know what the 66 means. I haven't figured that out, but I was just like, look at that. Now, am I obsessed with it? No. I'm just like, interesting. Could mean nothing. Could mean something. Maybe it's him sending us out. I don't know. But I will say I'm mindful of it. And I believe that many of us should be. Just, these little things, because maybe they're there to support you. Maybe they're there to give you some comfort, move your life along a little bit further. Who knows?
Yeah, or a heads up about something. If we try on, and I'm really, really trying to use this mindset more and more that things are happening for me. In my life, it could be that you're getting a heads up about something and it could be helpful and not like it's necessary or urgent, but it's like these little signposts. And some of this is just a reflection of synchronicity, that you're even paying attention. You know, I think there's been this underlying theme with everything that we've talked about paying attention, being aware, just noticing stuff. And look, you know, we try on a lot of things and they fit or they don't fit, and that's okay. Even stuff I get things I really believe in. There are times when I have moments of, this doesn't feel right. I'm not going there with this. So, you know, nothing is, I don't believe, like 100%. But really good to look at if you suddenly have something happen that's like a big change or a big pain or something, to kind of sit with that for just a moment. I actually, when I was getting out of bed this morning, I was feeling kind of achy, and I have a little ache sometimes on my like left hip area, because probably I need to stretch with that foam roller, those evil things that hurt terribly.
I bought one like months ago and I forget to use it.
Because it sucks. It hurts so bad.
Yeah, it did. And by the way, I don't have any carpeting, so it's all hardwood floor. So now I'm on a hard floor with the roller, and I'm like, but I know it's good for you.
Yeah. But I had this moment of connecting with my left hip, like, what would support you? And I got the message, I love swimming. So it's not working for me to do that today, but I also want to live my life in partnership with my body, because I want to live here for a long time. So, and, you know, not be in pain. So I was like kind of negotiating a little bit, like, well, I actually can't do that today, but tomorrow would be a good time. And so we kind of negotiated when might be a good time in general to go. I try to avoid a lot of people, and anyway. But again, you know, something that's there for you. It would be great for me to go swim at the gym I go to has a pool. And so if I don't want my body to be in pain, like, get off your lazy butt and go, please, you know, like, I don't want that. But that's part of why I want to listen, is that I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to feel kind of trapped or at the effect of my spiritual team, my body, the energies around me, like, oh my God, Noelle, enough. Just do the thing we're suggesting. You know, like, I don't want to be stubborn about things, even though I can be. Frankly, I don't love going to the gym.
I've learned to love to. Same. Do you feel that there are signs, signals, messages, even your body trying to tell you things, maybe intuitively, that it's all here to support us, but most of us aren't paying attention to it?
Yeah. I mean, so you and I have talked about, we have friends that are intuitive and friends that think we're probably way out there and overly woo-woo about how we look at things.
Sure.
But I bet talking to any of them, because it's my experience in everybody that I talk to, if we can get on the subject of intuition or what you kind of naturally seem to know, everybody knows something. Everybody's in tune in some way, shape, or form, in their own way. Even people that you may think are not or seem not, they can look back and be like, well, I guess it was my inner knowing that kept me safe when these terrible things were happening to me, or this was about to happen, or that kind of thing. So, you know, I think all of us are intuitive, and maybe it's, you know, there's somebody who can call themselves an intuitive, which is saying like, I'm a psychic or I'm a medium. Like, you could do like intuitive readings, but I really believe all of us are intuitive. To varying degrees, and maybe the only difference is how much you're willing to pay attention.
I believe we all are intuitive. And it's funny, I'm going to share this because it's ridiculous, but maybe it illustrates. So there's a little pub in town that me and my best friend have been going to since we were in our 20s. And they have the best $1 hamburger you could pay $15 for it. And it's just so good. And it's like, you know, we like having a beer occasionally, just talking and catching up. So they have this thing where it's during their happy hour, you go there and they give you, after you know, I'll have that and I'll have that. And they give you a card and you pull the tab and to see if you're going to save some money. So everybody's doing this. We've done it before. It's like, you know, all right, I think there's 5 on there. Give me the third one. You pull it apart and it's Full price. Wah, wah. And we were watching everybody. Nobody wins. Nobody wins this damn thing, including us. So we go there last week. And I'm like, dude, we're going to win. So we order. They show me the card. I'm not kidding. Instead of just saying, yeah, I looked at the card and I went like this. And I told the server, give me a minute, seconds. And I'm like, that one right there. He pulls it, 20 cents is what we had to pay. But
Wow.
we eat and we're like, they have pumpkin beer. What, you want one? Yeah, sure. I go back up there. Card comes in front of me. I'm like, and I'm looking and I'm waiting to feel something. And they say, that's how you're supposed to do it. I'm waiting. Number 5 right there. Pulls it, 20 cents. Thank you very much. So coincidence? Maybe, but we both believe there isn't one. I was intentional. I was mindful. I was looking to wait till I felt something from my intuition. Bam, and there it was. I don't know. That's what I got. And I feel that I really homed in on it and intentionally was driven to pick the right one.
Oh, I love that. This feels like, well, but I'm going to share it because it's coming to mind. I don't know how many decades ago this was, but I remember a guy I was dating in college, and he had a picture in his wallet of an ex and a bunch of friends. And I look at the picture and the only face that seemed in focus that drew my attention was this one woman. And I was like, oh, her. And he's like, how did you know that? And this is me not being intuitive, thinking I wasn't intuitive when I was younger. And I don't know why that example came to mind. Maybe that reason will show itself. But the idea of giving yourself that moment to really sit with what really feels right. I play Wordle every day, and I have certain words that I use to get to the word. And there are times when I just try to use my intuition to get a word. I mean, it might seem silly, but there are ways that I test and experiment with my intuition all the time because I'm trying to strengthen it and get better and listen to the more immediate information that comes first, which is what we should do, or even just sitting and let me feel it. I love that. And you got such great validation that it worked. How cool is that?
I paid 40 cents for a $40 meal, and
wow.
and the 2 additional beers would have been, I don't know, $15 or whatever, and it was 20 cents. And half the time they don't even ask for the 20 cents. They're like, get out of here. But I felt it. I really did. And I even said to my friend, I'm using my intuition. Stand back. And sure enough, it worked. And I don't see anybody winning. I don't know why, but twice in a row, same day, half hour apart. And when I was driving and saw my initials, first, middle, and last name on a license plate and those numbers, I guarantee you I will be playing those in the lottery. Maybe tonight or tomorrow. Why not? Why did that show up? It's calling my name, literally.
Literally, yeah.
What are the chances of that? I'm driving and I wasn't even paying attention. I'm just, driving. I just look up. I'm at a light. That's what it was. I'm like, wait a minute. That's my initials. What's going on with that? And it's my father's birthday.
Yeah. And we get signs. Like I remember when I was, I can't remember what the license plate said, but I remember when I went back to work after dealing with cancer, and I was feeling very unwell, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't fathom the idea of not having a regular job, but I knew it was inescapable how ill I felt when I would be like in an office. It was really weird at the time. And anyway, I remember sitting with what am I supposed to do? And I wish I could remember what the word on this license plate was, but I swear right in front of me as I get on the freeway from the office, I don't know if it was like freedom or I can't remember it. I have a picture, but I can't really tell. But I really took that as a message. And I am not a license plate looking person normally, but it was right in front of me. And it just was so perfect for that moment. And I needed a big sign for me. I wasn't asking for one, but I needed it to have some validation to do something so completely out of my comfort zone. But here's my real question for you, Steve. How is pumpkin beer?
Oh, it's great.
Really?
You've never had pumpkin beer?
No.
My gosh, there are certain ones that are better than others, and it's regional.
Okay.
There might be a
Gotcha.
brewery here in New York that you don't have there in California. Um, you get the right ones, and usually, there's most of them are good. It's like clove and spicy and some
Oh,
cinnamon, very tasty, very. Um,
gotcha.
Pumpkin is everything now. To pumpkin spice this, pumpkin spice that, pumpkin latte. Get it before it's done. The season is
Okay.
over. Yes.
Gotcha. Sort
Yeah,
of like the chai tea of beers, it sounds like.
pretty much so. But there are
Okay.
some. I love the flavor of clove and the
Hmm.
spices that they add to it. And hint of pumpkin and all of that. But and if you really want to take it up notches, have them do brown sugar or cinnamon on the rim. Delish,
Wow.
delish. If you like beer, if you're good with that.
Yeah. See, we're learning all kinds of stuff today, folks.
And use your intuition so you pull the right tab. So it's only 20
There you
cents.
go.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But I can't believe we're just about out of time. But I want to say just now you said the word freedom. You're gonna think I'm making this up. I am not. I was thinking the word freedom
Wow.
because it means something in my life.
Ah.
Yeah, and I've asked for signs. I'll laser this down real quick. Back in the day, got divorced, opening up my first bank account. I had when I was a kid, but not a joint. I'm in at the bank lady, and she understands the situation. I'm still friends with her decades later, and she says to me, "You need password." I'm like, "I don't know, whatever." She looks at me and she says, "Freedom," and I never
Ooh.
forgot it. But when I look for validation of certain things, that word comes up. Like I could be driving down the road and I'll be thinking about something that word would apply to, or just to show a sign that things you're in the right path. And I'll look up and I'll see a truck, and it'll say Freedom Plumbing. Or recently, I had a friend who was a life coach, change careers. We start talking. I'm like, "What are you up to?" "Yeah, I started a farm. It's called Freedom Farm. We have cattle." I'm like, "There's that word again." So it means something to me, but I was thinking that, and I was thinking about sharing something like that, and you said the word freedom, like freaky, like stop me in my tracks. I'm like, "What?" She just said that. Weirdness, or not?
Synchronicity. And look, when we're together, we are in sync. We're
Yeah,
focused. We're both trying to be in the flow of stuff
for
and not
sure.
get attached to things, and ideas come in and we talk about that. And,
Yeah,
we could come in with an agenda. I had a different idea of what we were going to talk about, but I want to do what feels like this is the right thing right now. We talked last week about what beckons my love and attention. Just really trying to be in the flow of this moment, not last moment, not 2 hours ago when that seemed like a good idea, but like now, let me feel it out. Let me take a moment. Let me just take a moment to just get calm and get clear and be unattached and not assume I know what we should talk about or what I should do
yeah,
next or
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Just
Well,
being open.
you use your intuition, and you were just guided by whatever it is, the universe or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of these things that we're talking about, again, people could hear this and think those two people on that podcast are crazy. They're just crazy. They are out there. Again, I don't dive deep into it. I look at it, process it. Maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't. But when there is a connection, I try to, as a skeptic, say, how did that even? But then I don't. I just lean back on it. And if it supports you and it helps you, if I win the lottery, whatever it is, there's a reason it showed up. Whatever. I don't know what the answer is half the time, but there's a reason. It's not. I don't
Yeah.
think there's no coincidence. Why did it? Certain numbers show up. My name in a plate. Using intuition. You feeling pain here after having a difficult conversation. There's a reason.
Yeah.
Day after, or within 24 hours less, that is presenting itself. How does somebody connect with you? Let's say this is resonating. They're trying to figure it all out. There's a lot to figure out here in all of this. How do they find you?
I'm at www.connectingwithnoelle. It's Noelle.com. And if somebody is interested in figuring out why things are happening in their lives, that would be a beautiful intuition session or a mediumship session or a coaching session to empower you to have a greater understanding, to have more insight, and to use this information for you because it's coming in for you. The universe
Yes.
is really trying to support you, your spiritual team, your ancestors, your loved ones in spirit. You know, people are really rooting for us. We just
Yeah.
have to be open to that help and receptive.
Be open and
and
receptive.
life can be a lot better. Yeah.
For sure. And thank you for saying that it's being provided for you. You don't have to believe it. You can just, turn your head, but it's there. It's there, and it's there to support you in whatever way you need support. Maybe you don't even know you need support. You might not even, maybe it's a medical thing and you find out.
Yeah. And look, you can hang on to being a skeptic, but if you're getting like clues or signs, like real signposts, follow them. Follow them. Not the place to be a rebel.
Yes. Yeah. It's almost like breadcrumbs. They use that term where you get a little here and a little there and it leads to something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks again for being here. Always love talking with you.
Yeah, ditto. And hope to see you all next week. And please reach out if there's anything I can do to support you in this area. I would really love to.
Fantastic. Pumpkin beer.
Everybody.
Pumpkin beer.
Pumpkin beer.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.